Welcome to another episode of Motivating Monday. And today's episode will be part of the series of character encouragement or motivation. In this series, we will be taking one character from the Bible and going through what part of this character gives us encouragement and motivation. And for today's episode, I have chose King David. Now, I think everyone or most people are familiar with King David. He was an amazing man, someone, the second king of Israel, and he did many great feats. One of his most famous ones being defeating Goliath, and it is so famous that even in the secular world it is being used as like idioms. So there's a lot we can learn from King David, and a lot of encouraging and motivational things about him. But today, I just want to highlight one thing about David, and that is whenever he had troubles, he would always turn to God for help first and would place his trust in him. This is clear in the numerous psalms he wrote in petition to God, such as Psalms 3, when he was running away from Absalom, and in Psalms 54, when he was hiding from the presence of Saul, and many other psalms where he laments to God. However, though these may seem like complaints, just mere complaints that David is making towards God, he never fails to mention that God is the only one that can deliver him. And he acknowledges the power of God and always goes to him in prayer and to seek help from him. In Psalms 3, though he exclaims that there are many are they who rise up against me, in the following verses, he proceeds to proclaim the Lord as his shield. In Psalm 54, he immediately starts with a plea to God for help. Even in his most famous battle against Goliath, he first starts off by proclaiming praises about God and placing his full trust in him, going as far as to say that he would definitely defeat Goliath, even though Goliath was so much bigger than him and had so much more experience in battles than him. I find this very encouraging and motivating because I I mean everyone has their own fair share of troubles, and like I'm no exception. And I just think it's really amazing of David and very encouraging that every time he runs into troubles, he will always turn to God first. And it is something that I should definitely learn amidst my troubles, whether it be studies or different things that happen in life that just come along. I should like this serves as a reminder for me to always turn to God first, as He is the one with true power, and there's no one else on this earth that could do a better job than God. Whether it be uh, un- unlucky that I get bad teammates, or someone betrays me or something like that, as David has experienced multiple times. He turning to God may though it may not 100%, though God may not 100% answer your prayer and solve whatever problem you're facing. Just trusting in the Lord and knowing that His plan will always work out and that He always has the best interest for you. This is the number one thing that we can learn from David, because in the end, God holds all power, and to those who are your enemies, God will always send retribution upon them. And to those who caused harm to you, having that trust in God is something you can really learn from David, as he always turns to God first, without uh, without taking matters into his own hands per se. And so I think King David is a very encouraging and motivating character to me, as he just teaches me that I should always turn to God first for any troubles in my life. And it is not up to me to exact vengeance or to take matters into my own hands just because I think this is unfair, or I think I can solve this problem on my own. But sometimes, yes, you can try your best to solve the problems in your life, but sometimes when you fall into a inescapable situation or something that's very devastating, know that sometimes there's just nothing you can do. And all you can do is to just trust in God and that His plan will always work out. And you and you have this assurance that God will help you, as David also had this assurance in many of his troubles that are far worse than what the modern world throws at us. And that'll be it for today's Motivating Monday episode, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.